Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Meeple has landed.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vitruvian Meeples presentation of Issue 3 of The Powers That Be, a Claim the Sky campaign. We are using Monty Cook Games' Cypher system, telling stories about superheroes. If you've been here for the last 2 episodes, welcome back. If you're just getting in on the ground floor, welcome. As usual, I am here with Patrick, ECAT, Magda, Julie, and Ray for our presentation. Hello, Snow. So we don't have a whole lot of time, and we've got a lot of story left to tell. So Patrick, please take us into the world of Excelsior and tell us what happened last time.
So when last we met, our intrepid heroes were given a choice between, do they decide to try to step into the life of heroes? Do they try to make a run for it? Or do they, turn themselves into the authorities for doing something that, strictly speaking, wasn't terribly legal? Going into a bar, starting a fight, beating a few people up, and setting the entire place on fire. That's probably the biggest set of the crimes, probably. So they decided to take a fine trip off to Washington, D.C. to visit Liberty Plaza and sign up to try to be heroes. After spending a delightful evening in a wonderful hotel that followed an even more delightful flight in a scramjet, which inexplicably actually worked perfectly well, and one of our fine members even got herself a fine pin in the shape of the jet. After having the couple members who were not registered as powers get their registrations and the consequent bonus to their pay, which once again was a delight to a certain adjunct faculty member amongst the group, we're sent down to the testing area to see if they have what it makes to be true heroes. And upon entering, a bunch of scientists approached the group to greet them and talk about the tests that they were about to take. And one of them pulled a gun and shot Black Eyes right in the head. And so we begin. So Crash. You see one of the lab-coated people pull a pistol out of their lab coat, and immediately the world slows down for you. You feel that familiar breakthrough as you're distressing the rules of physics and the general laws that everybody has to live under. And you watch what happens in fairly slow motion. It's not a particularly big pistol, but rather small, and that fits into the pocket of a lab coat. Person pulls up, aims it at her, and you see something interesting. Their sleeve slides up a tattoo upon their wrist, which looks a bit like a police badge with a pair of gavels on it. You see the finger pull upon the trigger, the hammer fall back upon it, the explosion as the gun fires. You see the bullet sliding across the air as you're just watching in horror as your friend's about to get shot in the head. And as it approaches her, you see that ice crystals start forming on the bullet. Its trajectory starts turning. And then as it approaches her, you're seeing that the side of her head glazes over as ice is frantically forming upon it. And it hits and shatters the ice. And you see her head get knocked to the side a bit. And then she straightens back up and starts turning back towards the other person with a very perturbed look in her face. And so we begin.
Okay, so by the time so as soon as I see that her defenses are coming up, because I've seen this before in the bar fight, I am going to be behind the lab person, and basically, lab person pronouns.
It's a generic scientist, so we'll call this one a him.
Okay. I am behind him and kind of leaning over one shoulder, and I whisper in his ear, "That's your one free one." Because I know she can take care of herself.
He doesn't.
Well, that's what's part of
So
the
black
plan.
ice, somebody shoots you in the head, and your head kind of knocks off to the side. It did not feel nice, but not really enough to even give you a headache. Just more of just like felt like you were getting shoved sideways, as the force from it is being distributed across your body.
Well, I would be like putting my hands up to try and push him away with my oh God, I forgot the skill. Ice thingies. I am so sorry.
With your onslaught, that is?
Yeah, that's it.
Ice thingies, that's a technical term.
Ice thingies, yes. Yes,
Okay,
my
yeah.
onslaught.
He is
Y'all,
a target 3.
For those of you tuning in, or possibly those of you watching afterwards, it's about 8 o'clock on a Monday night, and we all have jobs. So it's been a Monday. So you're catching us in true form.
All the meetings, I had 2 at the same time.
Ooh. All right, anyway, back to the game.
Okay, so onslaught, you said, hold on. I want to roll that. It's not
Onslaught,
letting
target
me-
3.
It's not letting me roll. Oh, wait a minute.
If
You've
you
got-
lose the pop
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. No, it's because I'm down to one monitor at the moment. The difficulty 3?
Yes.
I'm not going to put an effort in because she doesn't know about that, really.
Mm-hmm.
No asset. Woohoo!
Ooh, all right. So the person with the gun, for everybody else watching how fast this happens, shoots the person, shoots Black Ice. She kind of knocks to the side, and he's like, "Hey, you see, I told you it wouldn't." And then she stabs him with a few ice shuriken. He falls to the ground. Blood is welling up everywhere. He is
Meanwhile,
not
I'm screaming at the guy, like, what the actual hell?
I didn't say that was your free one from her.
The other scientists, by the way, are kind of shocked at the results of this individual's experiment. Oh, no.
I'm actually stomping now towards the guy in my stompy boots to really start yelling at the guy. Because he has just pissed me off.
Behind you, the elevator dings and the doors slide open, and 3 more individuals step in. One of them is yet another STEM agent, and the other 2 are, you presume, the 2 people who arrived just in front of you at Liberty Plaza. The one certainly was, on account of the fact that he was the guy who looks exactly the same as he did before. The other one, who once again still doesn't quite look like a quite normal person, stepping next to them, looks different than they did before. Their hair color has changed. They're a bit taller. Their arms and legs have kind of leveled out, but their body doesn't quite seem the right size to go with the rest of the body, with the limbs. They step out of the elevator, like, okay, so we're going to, What the hell happened here? The STEM agent, by the way, being a STEM agent, is very quick to run over and try to give first aid to the person who's currently bleeding all over the floor.
Yeah, you might want to see to him.
Meanwhile, I'm screaming at the guy going, you redacted, redacted, redacted. What the hell did you think you were doing? And I'm flipping out because this guy shot at me.
The strange-looking individual steps over, looks down at what's going on, reaches down and touches the other person in the forehead, and all of his wounds just stop. The blood ceases flowing, and then one by one, they just kind of stitch together. There we go, good as new. I assume you didn't want him dead, right?
Debatable.
Sorry, I didn't ask first.
Debatable.
No, I think we might be able to get something more useful out of him alive for the moment.
You weren't the one he shot at.
No, but I think we can say he's learned his lesson.
The healer turns to the rest of you and extends their hand. Oh, hi, I'm Shift.
I'm sorry, the audio was a little crackly. What's the name?
There was an
Shift.
F in that, right?
SHIFT, Shift.
Shift, okay.
Although they probably could transform themselves into a pile thereof. Yeah, just saying.
And we're back to stool samples. Oh, that's a neat trick you've got there. I was wondering if you had someone like that on staff.
Oh, I'm not on staff. I'm testing today, too.
Oh.
The other one, rather ordinary-looking individual, curiously enough, says, yeah, Shift's finally talked us into it. And, kind of cruising around doing our own thing for a long time. You know, the winds of fate change every once in a while, and we just decided to do something else.
Oh. I'd say that's a bit odd to make such a life-changing decision, but, I mean, we're here too.
I was having enough difficulty, says Shift, keeping ahead of the CDC and the FBI that have been trying to track me down. Our previous gig was going into hospitals and healing people, especially in the children's ward, just for the hell of it. The CDC had a lot of problems with that because miracle cures make practicing ordinary medicine a little difficult. So I've decided to try to put myself to a more globally useful purpose if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other one looks, and well, I'm just kind of along for the ride. Actually, I am the ride. What am I saying? So one of the people in the lab coats who's finally calmed themselves down enough from watching one of their colleagues almost get murdered for carrying on a really dumb experiment that probably didn't have authorization in advance. So we got all of you here to test, and you all are all together, correct? And you two are together.
Together is a very broad word here. Kinda, maybe, sorta.
We arrived together. Let's just leave it at that.
USA, who's been standing here the entire time, just really enjoying himself watching people get shot and attacked, because he knows real combat when he sees it. Just as a bit of advice, teams tend to do much better than individuals. Trust me, I've worked alone, but I far prefer to be in a team, be it in a platoon or a hero team. It's a very useful thing. You may want to consider that.
Provided you can vet and account for all of your members.
Yes.
And I give a quick glance to Crash, but not lingering, just back there and back.
He's paying no attention. He's like picking dirt out from under his fingernails or something.
Dude, he could have done that 5 times already.
He probably has.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Black Ice is just kind of off to the side by Crash, just
and glaring at the scientists. She's just annoyed.
and cold.
And meanwhile, Pa's standing there. When things started going down, the one thing that you noticed is that Elle kind of stepped in between you and where the pistol was. Just kind of by habit. And so was watching the whole thing right as I told you that something's going to happen off this hill. That's how she rolls. All right. Hold on, this is moving forward. Remember that. Sweet. Okay, so we have several parts to test. Now, for you guys, your combat test we don't have to worry about because we already have plenty of footage of you in combat. So let's see. We have 3 major parts we really need to get over today. We may want to do a couple others. So, and these are all vital parts of heroing. We've spent a very long time going through this test, so please do not doubt the efficacy of it. It works wonders. Trust me on this, and we'll have you guys do the one set, and we'll the other 2 of you will send off and go in the opposite direction, so you aren't stepping on each other's work. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. So before they head off with the one group of scientists, Schiff looks over at Gen X, pats him on the shoulder, and says, don't worry, old man, you got this. And as they walk away, you feel something kind of weird go on. You know that like nagging minor pull in your lower back that you got from the one fight, and how your like ankle just hasn't quite been the same since you almost broke it while trying to save a child several years ago. The pain from those things, from just kind of your being older than everybody else, all the pains from those just kind of disappear. Like you just didn't realize like how inflexible that spine felt until all of a sudden it's working right.
Yeah.
You do house calls?
I do what I want is the big thing. And they head off to a what looks like some sort of fighting circle. Barricades up and around it. All right. So you start getting led across this area with all sorts of just weird devices and things, like heavy objects just sitting around, target ranges, a massive obstacle course that you're pretty sure would kill your average person just trying to walk through, much less go through at speed. What's quite impressive, I think. In fact, Crash is like, I can take that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm already mapping like 3 different ways through it.
To a corner of the room where a stage is set up. And you see the big theatrical signs of comedy and tragedy. And there's some drapery along the corner of the wall. And there's a small group of people dressed up in, best you can say, are costumes of ordinary people. Because they are...
NPCs.
They've kind of like dressed up in a costume and then put a lab coat on top of it just so everyone knows that they're part of the scientific experiment. And they're not doing a very good job of it. They may indeed be wearing the costume over their regular clothes that they wear under the lab coat, but the lab coat still has to go on top. They all have like bundles of paper and stuff like this, and they're talking amongst each other excitedly. The main tester comes up. Okay, so one of the important things about being a hero is being able to interact with everyone around you. You can't just show up out of nowhere, beat somebody up, and leave and be a hero. That just makes you a person who beats people up. You'll note that whenever a hero makes an appearance on TV or whatnot, they have to say the right thing, and they have to say it in the right way. It's very important. I hope that you're all sort of familiar with that, because that's what we're going to be testing you on first. So, the first thing we're going to test the group of you on is you need to be able to introduce yourselves. when you show up on the scene, you can't just, once again, show up and start, kicking butt. You have to let people know who you are. Otherwise, no one will know who you are. And that's kind of contrary to the entire essence of what a hero is supposed to be. We have heroes for a reason. And if you don't identify yourself as such, well, no one will know who you are. So, of course, and I must add, Generator does not need to participate in any of these exercises today, as he's already a registered hero, although you may wish to give pointers to the rest of your possible teammates. It looks like some of them may need it. So here is our first scenario. You are arriving at the scene of a crime. And so a couple of the people on the stage, two of them get themselves into distress positions, and one of them pulls out a foam bat. It is quite obviously made out of foam. It's barely standing up under its own weight. He looks like he's about to cause some harm to them with the foam bat. They are not very good actors at all. Like, they would not have gotten cast in their high school play. They wouldn't have gotten cast in community theater. Nothing. Like, they're just terrible at this. They obviously have spent a lot of time studying psychology or other sciences and are not prepared for whatever it is they're doing, but they're very enthusiastic about the subject. So each of you need to arrive on the scene here and introduce yourselves to the villain and the victims as who you are.
I look at Crash and go, is this guy kidding?
Unfortunately, I think not.
Lame.
Getting along with others really isn't my strong suit. That's kind of why I went into the whole criminal business.
Yeah.
But
So USA standing behind you guys. Like, would you perhaps like an exhibition as to what it's supposed to look like?
oh, sure.
Go for it.
So he takes a deep breath, make sure his helmet and mask are on correctly, leaps from where he is onto the middle of the stage, pulls out both of his revolvers, flips them around his finger once, aims them at the bat-wielding gentleman, and says, "In the name of truth and justice, freeze, for Ultra Soldier Alpha is here!" And then he stops and steps down, and everyone's like, ooh. Like that.
Yeah, Crash is doubled over, desperately trying not to, like, guffaw out loud.
Yeah, I'm right next to him on that one.
I lean in between them and I whisper, "It hasn't gotten any better."
So, who wants to go first?
Well, sure. Why not?
Oh, I can't wait to see this.
So he kind of motions to the people to get in position, and as they're getting into position, he is already zooming in between them, with kind of stopping at basically in between them, facing the villain, with his energy all built up. Says, "It's time to crash this party."
The two victims start applauding. Oh, excellent, excellent. Yes, very nice. And all of the other people there start writing on their pads and okay. And who's next?
I lean over to Black Ice and not quite touch her shoulder.
Because I'm radiating freezing cold at this
I know,
point.
it's just like, it's pretty damn cold. And I just calmly just do what seems right. Say whatever comes to your mind whenever you get there. This is just a formality. It'll be fine.
Okay, Boomer. So I pull up my hood And I kind of walk over, not quite stomping, but there's a clear thud because I am wearing my stompy boots. I look at the two and say, you need to be careful when dealing with black ice. Touch the bat and walk away.
Ooh, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, and the guy with the bat kind of waves it around a bit, and it snaps in half. Picks up the pieces, puts it on the table, grabs another weapon. This time, a rather floppy pistol.
And other failed superhero names.
He had problems with hardened criminals. All right,
But he was
who's
a
next?
huge hit in Lake Placid.
Oh.
Boo.
All right, Tank, Pa, who's next?
Really? The two people on the fringes of society are going to show the rest of you up? Really? Is that how it's going to be?
And I stalk into the middle of the room. It's like, okay, well, what do you want? You need to be more specific.
You have to introduce yourself. You can't just kick somebody's ass without telling them who you are. I mean, that's just against etiquette.
I can. I have.
But you weren't a hero before.
Okay, so she reaches into her pocket. Can't really see what she's doing, and all of a sudden there is a loud Latin rhythm dance beat playing from the phone in her pocket. And she goes, I'm Paw of Justice, and I am here to just keep people from doing stupid shit, because that's what I do. And I go and I grab the nearest guy and I punch him in the face and throw him off to the side.
All right. So they take their notes, and then everyone turns and looks at Tank, who is shrank down somehow into a much smaller size than usual, perhaps through some device shields. You're up next.
All of a sudden, like when somebody pushes me into the thing of the light spotlight, that's what it's called. When somebody pushes me into the spotlight, all of a sudden you see that I'm wearing a nice burgundy lab coat and I'm holding my notes, and you have no idea where they came from. They're there because of course I'm going to be wearing a lab coat. And I'm Professor Dr. Tinkerovsky. This is Meki 350, and the dates are in the syllabus.
At that point, Crash does stand up and give her a standing ovation for that one.
Thumbs up from.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And then I just like
Okay.
about face and go back.
All right.
Whisper under my breath, it's not the worst I've seen.
At least they're not all overacting. I mean, so then the main researcher. Okay. So on to the second part of our scene. So the actors switch over, and now one is dressed like a damsel in distress. And she is wearing a dress that's, maybe like 1950s office worker type of thing. And the other one is this time dressed up as a more canonical villain, wearing a little mask over his eyes and has a fake knife.
Are you kidding me?
The villain steps behind her, grabs her by somewhere near the neck, holds the knife towards her neck. And then the researcher says, okay, so the next part of this, very straightforward once again, is you need to tell the villain to stop what they're doing. So, and just that, just tell them to stop in whatever way you feel most goes with your heroic persona.
So before he even finishes the instructions, Crash has crashed through, zipped around, taken the knife out of the villain's hand, and pulled back and snapped the domino mask. Now that's not very nice, is it?
Indeed, it is. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're all talking. Okay, and who's up next?
So
I can't beat that.
Is it an actual knife?
No.
Okay.
It looks like it was carved out of a pool noodle.
Seriously, I can't beat that.
Okay. So at that point, I turn around, walk away, and casually toss it over my shoulder.
Yeah, I can't beat what Crash did today, because all I'm going to do is stand there and go, seriously, dude, you need to stop.
Well, the researcher's like, yeah, I guess that'll do.
No, but I've got an idea. Use your little ice things, blast his feet, blast his hands, and yell, freeze.
That's a bit cliche.
I think that's what they want.
When do we give people what they want?
When it gets us out of here a little quicker.
Fine. I do the little ice. I go woo with my fingers. Because I seriously think this is a colossal waste of our time. And go freeze and hope that somehow I have enacted whatever magic thingy it is that I have that makes him freeze. Because I still don't know what the hell I'm doing.
It starts snowing around him. So the floor gets all wet.
Ooh, freeze.
Okay, yeah, that's a catchphrase. Yep. Okay, anyone else? Who's next?
We're a social group.
The two antisocial people are being the most
Right?
social here. This is hysterical.
Say, I don't know about you. I actually have an inability in pleasant social interactions. So really, my job is to be annoying.
Where I have positive social interactions, I just choose not to use them.
There is that.
I'm in academia.
Oh,
You broke
Lordy,
the party.
Someone save
Yeah.
us from ourselves.
All right, you two need to do something because I'm tired of standing around here.
I walk sort of like sideways behind Tink and just sort of do the little shoulder nudge.
So you step forward onto the stage.
If I have to do paperwork, you people are going to be expelled.
Again, standing ovation.
All right, Paw.
What? I punched somebody. I played some music. What else do you want out of me?
You have to tell them to stop. That's You know, the second question, it's right here. It shows you the thing, and there's a bunch of lines, mysterious writing on it.
Okay, completely out of character because I've been brushing up on my Italian and I'm behind on my French. Drea, I cannot remember what stop is in Spanish,
Detente.
but she said.
Or alto.
All right. So they write down, and then the main interviewer says, okay. So this is the perhaps most tricky of them, but it's the last question for this section, so you have that to look forward to. So the other actors go around, and they collect into a crowd of people, of like 5 of them. So after you have vanquished a villain, sometimes there will be people around, ones you've saved or people just from the area. So you have to tell them that it is now safe thanks to you. So Gen X, since this one's a little more difficult, how about you show them how it's done?
No loitering. I just burst out.
I look at him and I mouth.
I just blurt out in the middle of the silence. No loitering.
So I reluctantly step forward and go, everything's okay now that we've generated this peace and tranquility. Go on with your daily lives.
Yay! All right, so all right, I guess no loitering counts. So who's next?
As I'm walking back, I look to everybody and say, I haven't used that since I had to do this shit last time.
We couldn't tell, really.
These are not the villains you're looking for. Move along. Move along.
All right.
I gesture to Paw.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You're all pissing me off.
Okay. So Crash zips around, comes to a stop, kind of sideways in front of the crowd. What are you waiting for? Go home. Nothing more to see here. And then
So
he zips
basically,
away.
So basically, the fact that I'm, that she's at a side job as a bouncer, comes out to play with me, whereas Crash has watched Ferris Bueller, one too many times.
Yeah.
Actually, not too many times with Ferris Bueller.
All right.
Yeah, I actually
that wasn't so difficult.
I actually didn't go all the way to the movie's over. You can go now.
Oh! I got another one. Yeah.
You're out here.
So the test taker, a few scientists, USA, and the others start leading you off into another direction. And this is another corner of the room that looks like it's been much more well loved than the rest. There's bits of broken stone and bent iron and all sorts of stuff just kind of sitting around, along with some new stuff that has been posted up. And the scientist looks very excited about this. Okay, so as a hero, you will be engaging in combat with people who themselves also are powers most of the time, which makes sense. Or, ordinary people who are, way more heavily armed than the authorities are typically used to dealing with. That's why we have heroes. So we want you to, we have seen some of what you're capable of doing already, once again, before mentioned footage and other footage we have of you over the years. And, we won't mention that. So we want to see you push yourselves a little harder than usual. And so this is what we have this corner of the room for. It's where the other heroes who work here test out new things and come up with ways to use their abilities differently, or learn new tricks. Very important. You'll see the Liberty League down here all the time. Actually, it's fascinating seeing what they're capable of doing. So what I would like each of you to do is to just try to push your abilities just a step beyond where they tend to go.
What, the asshole back there shooting me in the head wasn't enough?
No, unfortunately, that's now
we've already
normal.
seen you survive getting hit by somebody's powers, and also exsanguinate somebody using ice from a distance. So we are familiar with that, but maybe just a little, push it up to that little bit next level. I can give you some suggestions if you'd like.
Well, see, now I don't know what I can do. I'm good with still trying to figure things out. How's that?
So there are like various targets around this area, right?
Yes.
Is there like an actual bullseye target on the wall?
Oh, there's a bunch of them, yes.
Excellent.
Up in various and sundry locations around the space.
Hey, Tank. Got any of those bottles left?
I reach into my lab coat pocket and I hand you one.
No. Toss it.
Okay. So in true nerd fashion of somebody that has never played a sport ever in her life, I
That's enough. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to crash through, build up my blast, position myself so that the blast will actually hit the bottle, which of course would be lit in an actual test scenario. And instead of destroying the bottle, basically push it into hyperspeed to crash against, or no pun intended, against or hopefully even through the target on the wall.
All right. That one sounds like a difficulty 4.
Okay?
if it was on fire, it would probably extinguish itself from the wind and speed and lack of oxygen.
So I'm not actually sure about
Yes,
that.
but you built it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a difficulty 4 what? Because
Okay. So this will have you. Let me make sure I get this correct. Okay, so it will be using that attack at a difficulty 4.
Oh, okay.
Just to get it to fire off properly.
Okay. So let's see. So yeah. So disrupting touch. Okay, difficulty 4. I will put 1 effort into it, because why not? And no assets. No effort to damage. Boom. Okay, I hit it.
Oh, well, it didn't pop up in the window.
Oh.
Oh, is my window misbehaving? My computer's not.
There it is.
There it is. All right. So you chase to the side of the bottle, stop, focus the blast into as small an area as possible. You hit the bottle nicely. It flings across the room, hits the target on the wall. At which point, as it's breaking, the triggering mechanism with its failsafe and the other failsafe on it, and it's just going to explode anyway, no matter what anyone does. If it's, anybody looks at it cross-eyed, detonates, and the wall all around it bursts into flame. A nice, cloud of smoke that only, petrol can give you. And everybody feels this nice amount of warmth on their skin for a second. Black Ice really enjoys that part of the operation. Like, whoop. Yes, very, very good. Excellent.
I look over at Tink. I say we call that one the crash and burn.
Smart.
You hear one of the signs say, "Where was that when they were doing the acting? Damn it!"
Oh, really?
So
I'm going to show you all up again? Really?
One of the scientists goes over to a nearby table and picks up a very large flashlight and hands it to Tink. Figure a way to hurt somebody with the beam on that. We'll get back to you. So, anyone else?
Can I just throw the double D's at somebody?
That sounds like a euphemism for something.
I was gonna say the 12-year-old in me just went in the wrong place.
Not
Yeah.
gonna
No,
say it.
it was the very right place.
Not gonna do it.
I doed it!
Okay, well, Mr. GM, can I
Yes.
just sit there radiating cold with my range boost? Because I am just annoyed as hell and don't want to be here anymore.
Yes, actually, I have an idea for you. Let me see.
She's getting more and more annoyed at these stupid ass tests. And she's getting colder, which is making her more grumpy. Which I'm sure is only feeding into the range of cold around her.
Let's see.
Is that like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah.
I have a idea, which is give me a intellect check, target 4, because we're making things easy in the environment.
Okay, I gotta find intellect. Okay. Target 4. Submit. I'm not gonna do any effort.
So as you're standing there stewing in your frustration with all of this, your layer of ice armor around you extends into the floor and creates an ice slick that's radiating outward from where you're standing. You don't notice this until one of the scientists standing there kind of turns to one of the other and falls. And one of the ones tries to help him, likewise falls on top of the first one.
Black ice is a bitch, ain't it?
And once again, one of the ones turns, so it's like, you see, where was that with the... Oh!
Oh,
Crunch turns to her. I see what you did there.
I don't know how.
So a couple of the
that's cool.
scientists come over with flamethrowers and melt the floor for the others. Ah, that was unexpected. That is kind of cool. They are prepared for a lot of things here.
So, like, while they're doing that, like, or while they're coming over with the flamethrowers, like, I've already put the flashlight back together again, and I'm, like, pointing it at the ice spot and, like, melting it already.
Roll a tinker check, target 4.
All right.
I believe you automatically pass that.
Yeah, with your 3 intelligence chefs.
Okay.
So you don't even have to roll.
Okay. Good.
Okay, yeah. So you go over and you start drying the floor with this thing. It starts carving a swath through the stone in the ground when if you focus it there too long.
I start drawing mandalas on it.
And a short while later, it starts overheating, of course, in your hand, and then the batteries go out, and you're like, "Whoa!"
Here, hold this. And I hand it to Black Ice.
Thank you.
She's starting to steam.
And I'm sure it turns cold fairly quickly.
Yes. All right. So, do you have an idea, Pa?
Is the floor dry yet?
Yes.
And pretty.
Okay, fire my music back up. I'm gonna need a couple of volunteers from the audience, please.
The scientists all look around and you can tell the ones who have less seniority because they kind of hang dog, like put their clipboards down and walk towards you, knowing what's going to happen.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, so I think how to describe this. I'm going to goad the one towards me, which is my one of my abilities. And then as he gets close enough for me to grab, I'm going to switch over to a dash, basically punch him in the face, disorient him, and then throw him into the other scientist.
All right. Let's see.
Like a 1-2 punch, takedown. Yeah.
All right. Let's make that a bash. Target 4. Okay. Let's see. I will throw in a level of effort if I can find the right window. I don't have any assets. I will take that. All right. So quite successfully, one comes over, you haul off, smack, and he leaves the ground, rams into the other one, and both of them are on the ground, largely insensate for a bit. You hope that they have good health insurance working for STEM. All right. So
You might want to grab that other new guy.
No, I'll leave some toys, for everybody else.
So, Generator, did you want to play around at all?
I'll pass. Thanks, though.
All right. All right. I need to get some more tea, and we're at halftime, so let's take a brief break.
Oh, yay. I was also thinking about going to start the kettle.
I'd mind.
You've been doing this for how long?
Funny enough, this is what we call the necessary evil.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard myself being called.
Necessary
No,
evil.
You're the
Not yet.
unnecessary evil there.
Oh, just wait.
Or not so evil. Evil.
No.
Wait your turn.
Oh, like I've ever done that.
Point.
I'm out of chai. My house is sad.
So the worst part is that Tink actually has like a little tiny tea kettle and is actually doing this.
Yes.
Oh, of course I would. And it's gonna be like one of those like travel mugs that like has like the heating bottom and like self-filtering and
Yep.
Collapsible.
of
In
course.
fact, you're using the batteries from the flashlight in order to power that right now.
Well, no, because I have like a whole generator system in my backpack.
Right, of course. Yes.
Why would she?
No.
Do you need me to recharge your hand warmer? That's
Oh, I have them over. I hold my full fingerless gloves.
yeah. You can just toss them in the pencil pocket in the front, and they'll like self-charge. You can exchange it for the next one.
Gotta make sure Patrick watches all of this later so he sees what he's missed.
Yes.
Yeah. I may edit this out of the YouTube cut, but it'll be up on the Twitch
Would
video.
you though? Should you though?
Seriously, come on,
That's
because
fair.
the rest of us are sitting here chatting.
That's fair.
Because just because the scientists have gone off to confab doesn't mean anything.
If you thought you hated the first part of the test, wait till the last part of the test.
Ah, bollocks.
I wouldn't
Dirty
say
word,
hate,
dirty word.
I wouldn't say hate so much as mild annoyance.
Yeah. I can't believe you adults are doing this.
I'm out of chai.
Oh no! Not that!
Do you know how many teas I have? And I can't
No.
find one that I want right now.
That's the worst.
I know. Ooh.
I go over to Black Ice. It's all right. I'll buy you an ice cream after this is all done. It's on
Bite me.
the guys we beat up.
How about a hot cocoa instead?
Deal.
With marshmallows?
Well,
Whipped
yeah.
cream.
I want marshmallows.
So I hold up like the 5 wallets that I took from the hooligans and spread them like a hand of cards.
I reach over and just grab one.
No.
All right. So while the scientists are comparing notes, the other two show up at the station because you're crossing paths finally, and they decide to give you, a moment because everybody is interested in what these two are going to do. So the first one, Shift, thinks for a moment and looks at one of the scientists who has a really cool mechanical prosthetic arm. It looks like something that Sawyer would have built. It is very human-like, except it does a lot of extra stuff. Seems pretty cool. Shift asks to take a look at it. The person removes it, hands it to Shift. Shift looks at them, grabs them by the arm, and then their arm starts growing back. And in the course of about 10 seconds, the person has a new arm in the place where the old one was. Shift takes the prosthetic arm, slaps it into the hand on the new arm that just grew, gives him a thumbs up and a wink. And then
Are you gonna use that anymore? Can I have that?
the scientist is looking at it with horror at what just happened. Like, what?
There's some serious consent issues going
I
on,
was
though.
gonna say, did
Yeah,
you
did
even
you-
hear
Yes,
that?
yes, there are some serious consent issues going on here.
Maybe he likes his prosthetic arm. 'Cause it looks like it's got all kinds of cool doodads and stuff.
I mean, no one asked if Snowflake over here wanted to get shot. I think it's an even trade.
I know it's true.
So
But I
Will
miss Snowflake to you.
Will thinks for a moment and do you remember the Hades probe that went off course and never reached Jupiter like it was supposed to? Yeah. Scientist, yeah, okay. He concentrates for a second, and then in a puff of black boats and strange tentacles and a really weird pulling sensation in the back of Gen X's head, plunk is sitting a space probe. It settles down a bit and then falls over. Tunk. Good enough? The scientists all look at each other and murmur amongst each other. Look at him. I can do other things, but they start getting dangerous.
Did I just see that, or did that bullet really rock my skull?
Why choose?
True.
So I put the U in Universal Teleporter. Just remember that. And wanders off. And ship follows. With the guy still standing there looking at his old prosthetic arm.
As Shift walks by, I'm in a room. Hey, can I have a high five? Can I get my 3 points of might back?
Sure.
Thank you. Save
So-
myself a recovery roll.
The scientists, after a furious discussion, largely on what to do with a space probe that has been sitting here, it is very likely more than a little radioactive. It doesn't have very good shielding because it's supposed to be in space. And then start swiftly leading you off elsewhere to get some distance and perhaps some cement between you and it. So the next section, not too far away from the doors, is a impromptu classroom set together. There's a bunch of those really bad desks with the one arm that flips up to be able to write something on, and a chalkboard in front. The tester steps up in front of the chalkboard and says, "Please have a seat."
I moved to the back of the classroom.
Oh,
I
I'm
sit
leaning
front
up
and
against the
center.
back wall.
I am sitting on the top of the back of the chair with my feet on the actual seat.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
slumped down, feet crossed. Good thunk, good thunk.
I lean over to give Black Ice a fist bump.
Boom.
Whew,
We're
that's
totally
chilly.
going Breakfast Club here.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think
Oh yeah. Ali Sheedy, thank you very much.
So the instructor reaches up to the chalkboard and flips it around, and upon it is written one word in very big letters, and it's ethics.
I've already had to take this training.
So this is the last part of your training, and we're going to ask each of you a ethical question, and just answer it in the way that you think is best.
Oh, this is gonna be
Okay.
fun.
I'm smirking and looking at Crash.
So am
I'm
I.
kind of giving him the same look.
Said I'm smirking and looking at Crash.
All right, everyone's looking at Crash, so the person looks at you. Okay, so Crash, you have just saved the day. The person you saved asks if there is anything they can do to repay you. What do you say?
Yes, but we'll come back to that another time.
The scientists all around writing stuff down.
I lean over to him and go, seriously, a favor to be redeemed at a future date?
Why not? I figured it was a better answer than your wallet.
I like it. Oh, my idea.
So, Tink, you have just defeated the nefarious Dr. Claw. Sitting next to him, as he is unconscious on the floor, is his new death ray that he was threatening the city with. What do you do with it?
I am going to confiscate this and take it to a secure location.
So, Paw.
Yes.
Oh no! One of your best friends turns out to be a villain. But exposing them will make it look like you're the bad guy to everybody else for being petty. What do you do?
First, try to smack the stupid out of them. Really, what were you thinking? I mean, come on. Family, we are, you're going against, everything that we all stand for, to, protect each other. Basically, what in the actual F is wrong with you? And if that doesn't get through to them, then I turn them in and I deal with the consequences because, yeah.
From the side, you guys can see Zola and El, the other two atoms there, looking at each other and nodding furiously at the smack the crap out of the person. Yeah, that's pretty much your solution to things. All right, Black Ice.
Oh, God.
Your secret base is hidden beneath a local laundromat. The proprietors have found out about it. They are threatening to expose you to your enemies if you do not give them hush money. You have too much equipment in there to just abandon it right away. So what do you do?
I go talk to Tia Lucia and see if I can get some of her special herbal medicine to give to them instead.
This herbal medicine will kill them, will it?
She's never really said what's in it. It has a rather skunky smell to it, though.
All right. So, Gen X, would you like to answer one? Just to show them how a real hero thinks.
And do you want the real answer?
Yes.
I'll leave
Laughs
that
an
up to you.
academic.
And meanwhile, I turn and go like this. Tell us
You
the
have-
story.
You have a secret identity. You're having a nice dinner at a posh restaurant, trying to impress somebody in a nice, normal, humanly humble sort of way. So showing off today is not an option for what you want to accomplish at this dinner, be it a date or a business thing, who knows. Suddenly, there's a noise outside. Through the window, you can see a villain just about to kill somebody. What do you do?
Hang my head and sigh a couple of times. The answer you want to give me is that I quietly excuse myself to the facilities, make my way to the back, scurry around, do what's right, and then nonchalantly come back, say, "Pardon me, sorry about that. Where were we? Let's continue the discussion." But you know, blankety blank, blank freaking blank well, that what really happens here is that the upper ups get to go and do whatever they want to do in whatever manner they see fit, so long as it fits the agenda, and stroll back, and just everything else gets glossed over for the ones that you have picked.
Bitter much?
Hit him too?
Crash is duly impressed.
You hear the scientist's pen hit his clipboard, clunk. Oh, sorry. And write some notes down. Alrighty then. So
Crash leans over to Gen X. We'll make a proper rogue out of you yet.
You think I haven't even you think I haven't considered that?
No.
So that's the great thing about the system. You can do whatever you want. So they write down some more notes. I'll pull off a couple sheets and hand them to USA, who picks them all up, nods sagely, and beckons you all off to another section of the room, wherein you find a commissary table. So there's sandwiches and donuts and coffee and other things all lined up. So why don't you have a bite to eat? I'm sure you're all famished after all of that, and we will get back to you guys in just a bit. And USA heads off to the elevator and disappears up it.
King, donuts?
I grabbed a cup of coffee.
Donuts sound fantastic.
instantly
Yes,
wrap
thank
my-
you.
I wrap my hands around the coffee and it instantly turns cold and sigh.
I hand you my tea mug. It may or may not have like a nuclear generator in it.
I'm going to make sure that at least one door stays open all the time, lest this become a gas chamber or something similar.
Vapor pressure? Yeah.
Not paranoid if they actually are out to get you.
And some of them have been.
Yep.
So yes, I am actually leaning on one of the doors, keeping it open.
So after a while, USA and Eidolon step into the room, and they point at Gen X and beckon him over to speak to them.
Can I bring my lunch?
Oh, certainly. So they take you just outside into the hallway. And they're like, so what do you think?
You don't have enough time for me to tell you what I think. Might want to specify.
Do you think that they could do as heroes? There don't quite seem to be enough in your neighborhood, as exhibited by the fact that one of your local houses got burned down by the hooligans. It's kind of indicating that we need a little bit more coverage there. Do you think that
the fact
were...
that we got no backup after one of what I thought was one of ours, or support, or anything else for that matter? But to get to your question, Tink and Black Ice, they need guidance. They're going to go through some tough lessons, but I think they've got what it takes. Pa's rough around the edges, but she'll do fine. Crash is an interesting one. Hits me differently.
We're debating heavily on Crash ourselves. He has a bit of a criminal record.
Yeah. So did Tony at the start.
Very true.
But
So the question is, would you be willing to sponsor him? The other three, I think we could be fine to let out on their own and do their thing together or not. Crash, we're concerned about. If he's given the privileges of being a hero, he very likely abuse them immediately.
he's got enough self-control that he didn't give in to his baser desires today, or even at the pub. But I can't go much longer turning down any opportunity and every opportunity to try to get the hell out of where I am right now. So I'll sponsor him.
All right, here, just sign here.
Was that conversation out in the open, or did you guys like go to a?
It was around the corner. If any of you have good perception skills, you could overhear it if you want.
I think I do, but I don't think I would be listening in. Because I found cheese. And
Yes, there's a cheese tray.
You found the snack table.
And priorities,
Okay,
man.
Donuts, we got cheese.
There's cheese. There's
I want
tea.
cocoa.
Come on.
I've got fresh tea. It's all good.
I have to assume they were not outside the door that I was holding open, because none of them are quite that stupid.
No, they had gone down the hall and were, talking all kind of hush-like.
What kind of soda selections do they have?
All of them. This is the Liberty League. They have a ridiculous budget.
Awesome. I go and try to find myself like pineapple or mango or something.
Yeah, like a mango Fanta or something like that, and they have it.
Why can't you see this? There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
The mango liquid death is actually really, really good.
Wild Tank, your skills have really upped the game.
That is not a corporate sponsorship. However, Liquid Death, if you're interested, let us know.
Can we get a cheese sponsor also?
Yeah.
So, as you're heading back in, USA says, "Oh, that's right. You need to talk to that new guy." And you might not get too many opportunities. I don't know if he's quite going to make it. Will and Shift are gonna stop by in a minute. Talk to Will about what he sees. It may be interesting for you.
Is this still just to Gen X, or is this to everyone?
No, this is as they're walking into the room.
Okay.
So, USA says with a big grin. Eidolon is standing next to him, trying to look, brooding and mysterious as he usually does, but you can tell he's kind of grinning. So, it looks like you have all passed. You are going to be issued your licenses for heroing. So let me cover a couple things for this. We will upgrade your ID. It will not say it on your ID, of course, because people are allowed to have secret identities if they want. But this will give you a couple of privileges that the program offers. First of all, and this is one you'll have to be very careful with, is immunity to prosecution for anything you carry out in the course of heroing. So, because, if a hero has to, bust up a few buildings or break some cars or anything in the process of, saving a city, we can't have them tied up in court the entire time. So we've found a way around this. Now, if you are, of course, up to particularly nefarious things instead of heroing, we have our own justice program. So do take that into consideration, he says while staring straight at Crash.
What?
Second, of course, heroes have to have a certain level of presentation about themselves. So we also have a bunch of shops and clinics in and about the country, and all of and New York has good representation of all of them for things like getting a good costume. Costuming is very important. You'd be amazed at how often you'll be fighting somebody who has an ability that compromises what you're wearing. You do not want to be like your pants shattering while you're fighting somebody or anything. So we have specific materials for that to make sure that you look good while you're doing what you're doing without having to deal with any unexpected garment failures.
You should
Very
always
important.
wear proper PPE.
Yes, indeed. For instance, like if you can fly, you need to make sure that whatever you have has a very sturdy collar, lest it lets air in and you just are flying around looking like a giant balloon. There's all sorts of things go wrong. And mind you, if your pants and your top are separate, the pants are going to fall off. The air drag on them will happen. So we have solved most of these problems already. We will, if you wish to acquire a place to work as a secret base, especially if you operate as a group, we can take care of the necessary shell companies to make sure that any property you have in your possession is not tied to your own name. Once again, some people like to have secret identities. If you don't want a secret identity, by all means, you don't need to. Also, if you wish to register as a group, there are some other privileges involved with that, but I will leave that up to you. I'm sure Gen X can fill you in later. And otherwise, also, the big thing is you have full access to our medical facilities. So after you've gotten beaten up or anything from a fight, feel free to stop by any of the clinics. We have the world's just best care, and we are currently working on trying to get even better care than we had before, which I believe you have already seen in action outside. So any questions?
I'm just imagining Paul Rubens and Mystery Men.
I would forever be the one who dealt it.
I lean over. So, oh, sorry. Who was that was saying that? Was that USA or Eidolon or someone else?
That was USA.
Okay. I kind of lean over to USA and tell me more about the whole pants shattering thing.
If you think that if you want to know what that's like, you probably should just piss off Black Ice enough.
Fair.
She has that range of abilities. I had my whole outfit singed clean off of my body once.
Was
Now,
that
granted, the fire
consensual?
couldn't hurt me, but people saw things they shouldn't have, and some of them still can't look at me. Yeah, there's parts of your friends you just don't need to see sometimes.
Something about, pants being required, yeah.
Pants. Big fan of pants.
So as you're talking, the other two, Shift and Will, walk into the room. Shift never particularly looks overly enthusiastic or overly upset about anything. Just kind of, they're in the world, just doing their thing. Will, on the other hand, looks a little worried. Apparently part of the test did not suit them terribly well. And as they walk by, USA is like, you mentioned something about our friend Generator over here. Do you want to talk to him for a minute? And then Will's like, oh, yes. Yeah, so Generator, I heard that you're having a problem with your symbiote.
You could call it that.
So, okay. So ours are somewhat similar, believe it or not. One of the things that I can do is, in addition to being able to move things around, or actually move the spaces that things are in around, it's a complicated thing. The scientists want to do a lot more research on me, and not sure if I'm going to let them. But I can also see all the space in between everything, as opposed to seeing things. It's also kind of weird. But I know what your alien looks like, which is kind of a weird thing, because being able to see who has them and who doesn't apparently is not a terribly common ability. I didn't realize that was actually an ability until this afternoon. So I've seen yours, and I think I have a bit of an idea as to what happened. And I just want to say, I think maybe you're approaching this wrong.
Approaching this wrong?
Yes.
Approaching this wrong. No. How long have you known this? How long has this information been known by this agency and anybody in it? And when have they bothered to call out to me? No, I'm sorry. I have been living with this stigma for years. I have been ostracized by people in my own community, those who are supposed to be of the agency and for the hero way. And you have just let me hang out to dry.
Oh, I'm not part of the agency by any means. I'm a new guy, just like your friends here. No, it's something. It's not that I know it. It's that Nebula knows it. Nebula's my companion. Nebula knows what's happening, and we don't talk in like English. We just kind of understand things, I guess. It's weird. You know how it is, that it's there. You experience things from it. It experiences things from you. We don't know why, but it's just kind of their jam, what they're doing. So the thing is that I think you've been going under the expectation that something has gone wrong. And I don't think that's what's happening at all. It's not broken.
All this time since you said that, like, I'm looking about 4 feet past you and stopping, and just kind of this trying to comprehend.
I think the best way to put this is you had a caterpillar. It's in a chrysalis right now. That's why it's not behaving the way it did before. It's not that it broke, it's changing.
Changing.
The problem is, it would seem, is that you stopped doing whatever it needs for it to keep changing. It's kind of sleeping right now. I don't know how it operates, what it needs out of you. Like mine requires space and sensation. It's kind of weird, so I have to go around a lot of places and experience them. I don't know what yours needs, but whatever it is that it needs, it's not quite getting, which is why it's sort of dormant right now. That's why it hasn't really spoken to you.
I'm going to need some time with that information.
Oh, certainly. If you want to chat about it at some point, here, let me give you my number, and just give me a call at some point. I'd say I'm in New York, but I'm everywhere. But that's kind of where I lay my head these days. So we might be able to catch up and catch some coffee or anything. Oh, actually, are you guys done here?
We haven't heard back from Wonder Boy in a little bit, so other than having snacks,
weren't we in recess between the 2 stations?
No, you were being judged after having gone through the 3 parts of the test. The 3 incredibly scientific parts of the test.
Well, yeah, but like that wasn't that the first station, and then we were having recess, and then we had to go to a second station?
I think that was the ethics test.
Oh.
Yeah. You had your acting test, your might test, and your morality test. Those are the 3 parts. There's also the fight test, but once again, they just got some recent footage of you starting a fight and lighting a bar stool on fire and incinerating a place with some handmade bombs.
Being a hero is akin to a 3-legged stool, and all of the legs need to be
on fire.
Yes, you are welcome.
Needless to say, I more or less slid down in my chair and am mostly dozing at this point, just kind of half listening.
I'm
Do you
like
guys?
taking snacks and shoving them in, like hiding them in my backpack and all of my Tupperware. I'm going for
Trevor?
the good stuff.
Was I right or was I right? Is she going to stuff all the condiment packets into her lab coat? Yes.
Yep.
Oh, and don't forget the extra napkins because you never have too many.
Right.
So, if you guys are done, do you want to ride back to New York?
That would be better than hitchhiking.
Oh, well, we don't get the private plane for the flight home.
Well, you can, or I can just send you there, like, save you the time. If you want.
This isn't going to go all Galaxy Quest-like, is it?
Give me a moment.
God, I hope not. It usually works.
Give me a moment.
I'm
And
going to take the plane because I've had my innards scrambled enough with science. So,
I'm going to zip back to the first lab, and is the lab assistant that shot Black Ice, the one with the tattoo, still there?
Yes.
Okay. So I am going to steal a piece. I'm going to grab a piece of paper and a writing implement from somewhere. Simply write down, "We need to talk," and then the dash to indicate the signature, and then the shattered broken glass kind of pattern. Zip by, drop it in his pocket, and then leave. And we'll come back.
All right. So, you sure you don't want to trip back? Trust me, you. Believe it or not, you aren't actually moving. It's just the space you occupy that's just reassigning to a new location. Trust me.
Well, I mean,
That's
like, I've
perfectly
got grading that I have to do, so as long as I can go back and grab my suitcase.
Oh, right. You were in Sawyer's place, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He thinks for a second, actually precisely 1.652 seconds, and then your bags are all sitting on the floor. Just poof. Although without the sound, it actually doesn't make any noise, which is kind of weird. Most abilities tend to make some sort of weird noise. And once again, when he does that,
comic book life.
Generator feels this weird tug at the back of your head. Whenever he seems to do anything, you feel that.
And this is the one that talked to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I check inside of my bag just to, like, make sure that everything's there.
Yep. He's incredibly thorough. In fact, you're pretty sure that there's some things that you would put, like, onto the counter in the bathroom that are now in your bag. You seem to move them all in there together at the same time. From what
Does
you
he
could
have
tell,
my plushie pillow?
yes. From what you could tell from, as you were taking your tests, from watching him doing stuff, he was no good in a fight when they tried to do the, fight simulation thing, which you guys didn't have to do. That man can't throw a punch, but he can certainly teleport things like nobody's business.
Hey, everybody has their strengths.
If he can teleport a 16-ton weight above someone, that's a pretty good punch.
Yes, that.
He looks like, I hadn't thought about that.
Oh boy.
Wile E. Coyote. Super genius.
Genius.
Well, we have your new nickname.
All right. Well,
All right.
I'll see you guys back in New York at some point. All right. So have a good one. And then for everybody except for Generator, in less than the blink of an eye, once it happens, you just see this darkness clear around you, and you're standing on the corner right at the bar where you had had your fight previously. The bar, by the way, is burned out and gutted. Does not look like it's in very good shape. It's still like smoldering a little bit.
Excellent.
Gen X, when you go through, you actually see something happen. So in that little interstice when everything goes black for everybody, you see what that blackness actually looks like. And is this massive collection of big kind of black or purpley spheres with tentacles springing out from all over it. And a lot of those spheres have eyeballs, some of them don't. You just spot that thing, and then everything disappears again.
I'm imagining like a railgun of space squid, just like passing us from one tentacle to the other.
So you're standing in the neighborhood. Now just, what is it now, like mid-afternoon the next day. Just having reappeared straight into the middle of the sidewalk as people are walking by, and they all just all stumble into you and kind of confused as to what the hell just happened.
It's okay, so am I.
Yeah.
So long as our luggage made it, I'll be fine.
Yes, your luggage did travel with you. As you can tell, because somebody tripped over it.
Mine has a little tag that says, "This baggage has been inspected by Will." Really?
Well, that was surreal.
You're telling me. Did you see the in-flight movie at all?
No.
No.
No?
I always get
Just
stuck
me?
in coach.
Was it a movie?
Never mind.
I'm going to suggest, if you're willing to tell us a story, that we discuss this over drinks. I believe I owe this one a hot cocoa.
You look over at the nearest bar, and part of the roof collapses into the building. Obviously not there.
I've been in Shattuck.
I'm gonna like pop up the collar on my lab coat and just like slink away, holding my Agretsuka little roller suitcase.
Okay, so where are people going?
So,
I'm going to find I don't know, Sunbucks or whatever the equivalent is.
Yeah.
Because, seriously,
This
Black
is-
Ice is getting
this
hot
is-
cocoa, and the hooligans are paying for it.
I'm coming.
I don't
along.
have to go to work for a little
Yeah,
while yet, so.
This is all of our neighborhoods, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, we see the place that, the roof and the cloud of dust, and we all turn around and look at each other, and I point in the opposite direction. There's one a block and a half this way. Come on, let's go.
I like shuffle pretty fast, try to not be associated with this place.
Or I just
So-
kind of clump along.
I turn around and look at it for a second, shrug and go, it could be a fixer-upper. And then I come along.
So you have the opportunity to kind of chuck your bags into the front door of your place because you don't feel like going to the coffee shop with, your carry-on.
Yeah. This is not the airport lounge.
No.
No, but I don't need my aunt knowing I'm back yet, so I'm gonna keep my duffel bag because she will
And so
expect
you
me to be
head
at
to
work.
the local cafe. I like Sunbucks, by the way. I think we should keep that one. At some point, we're going to have to kind of collaboratively start putting the neighborhood together.
Yep.
Since you will be spending a good amount of time here. keeping it from falling in on itself. So you get to the coffee place. Everything's, kind of how it was before. Bunch of people hanging out in mid-afternoon, not at work. The tank is incredibly jealous of all these people who do not obviously have a pile of papers to take care of, which would be a lot easier to grade if students paid attention and answered things in any sort of sensible way, because undoing all of the madness and stupidity they come up with is 90% of the job.
God, you're giving me flashbacks. Fucking PTSD.
Both my parents are teachers, so, I'm familiar.
Post-teaching stress disorder.
Week.
Yeah, after we're done, we'll have to tell you about the current academic drama on campus.
Okay. Okay, so we make it to Sunbucks. We all get our drinks. So,
Yep.
Tell us a story.
Get something that's like the size of my head.
Yeah.
Extra whipped cream, extra sprinkles, all of the flavors.
I ask for it extra hot so I have a chance of it being lukewarm by the time I drink it.
And a cookie.
Yeah.
Of course.
And a
You've had
breakfast
a long
sandwich.
day. And as you're ordering it, you pull a piece of cheese out of your lab coat pocket and start chewing on it.
I look at Tink and only half under my breath say, I wish I still had a metabolism like that. Dear Lord.
Called stress and anxiety.
Oh, don't forget trying to run across campus to be able to get from your office hours over to your classroom. Opposite sides of
Actually,
campus.
generator, that's kind of the funny thing, is you actually are feeling really hungry all of a sudden. Even though you kind of ate, you could eat more.
Okay.
Oh, and a Rice Krispie treat.
I say make it 3.
I'll take one. Because I'm not buying, right?
Right?
No. So I order a couple of the sandwiches. No, 3 of the sandwiches. A couple of the Rice Krispie treats.
Marble loaf. Actually, marble loaf and lemon loaf.
Ooh, yes. I like lemon loaf.
Okay. So
Right
So you're
now I'm
sitting at a
hungry.
table.
I
Crash.
flop into a chair and try to chug my hot chocolate before it turns to a block of ice.
Crash is making no secret about pulling out a flask and, accentuating his drink. What are they going to do?
I mean,
They
like,
make
it is
heroes.
grading season.
I look at mine and hand my cup over to Crash, hoping the alcohol will keep it from freezing.
So I take it, make sure the lid is on tight, cover the little sippy hole with my hand, and vibrate back and forth to heat it up.
Ooh.
Try that.
Thank you.
That's
I
going to be
start
our
looking guilty because I am not 21.
that's going to be our group's trademark, is finding new and interesting ways to heat up Black Ice's drinks.
So you were saying, Crash?
I was telling, I was basically saying, so you were saying Gen X.
Well, I'm apparently stuffing my face right now. So I put down what's left of the second sandwich. And my flat white. And look at Crash and go, about what in particular?
I believe you mentioned some in-flight entertainment. that the rest of us apparently missed.
Oh, just I mean, I've seen some strange things in my day, but never thought I'd witnessed actual tentacle porn.
Oh, honey.
Excuse me, what?
Do go on.
We call that hentai.
We call that burying the lead.
My brain is doing really bad things, mashing that up with the column of hand scene from Labyrinth.
Yep. And mind you, as the cat girl, you have the most fear of any hentai going on around here.
Do not like bad touch. Speaking of pets.
Let's just say it seems like we have ethereal neighbors, and they're big purple balloons that want to reach out and touch someone. But it was literally a flash in the pan. Not
All
like
right,
we had much time to blink between when we were in DC and when we showed up here.
Yeah. Okay, do me a favor. If you ever meet my auntie, don't mention this. She's wackadoodle enough as it is. Okay? We don't need her conspiracy theorying that there's things.
Stuff and
out there.
things.
Yeah,
My lips are sealed.
please.
I look around the group and mutter under my breath, sure, she's the wackadoodle one.
She is.
So, boys and girls, we seem to have gotten ourselves a hero gig. What's next?
I want to know when we get paid next.
Actually, Generator, you know this. When the cards are issued out, they already have a month's worth of pay on them.
So,
And otherwise, it's every other Wednesday.
Christina Ricci, and then we skip one, and then we go to the
Nice.
So, Black Ice, if you check your balance, you'll see that you should be good for now, for a little while.
Hmm.
And then it's every other week. That at least they take care of.
Don't make any plans that are too grandiose.
Look,
Well, although
trying
do
to
know
get
what
money
they
for
told you,
college.
heroes do make a bit more than registered powers do.
Oh, okay.
So there is a pay increase for that.
Well, shit, if I'd known that, I would have signed up years ago.
I'm just trying to save money for college here, okay?
Totally understood.
Hey, you do have an in on the local faculty.
Nepotism swells in the heart of the American bear.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know what they expect from me, but I mean, like, if they want to give me money, I'm not gonna say no. I mean, it's not like I've got student debt to pay back, so yeah.
Although in the back of your mind, you do have another consideration, which is if what they said about heroing is correct, you can probably do researchy type of things without having to really worry about the internal review board, because whatever you do isn't necessarily going to be seen as illegal. In case you ever wanted to build like a death rate or anything like that.
So,
Yeah.
and I kind of sit back, and with this talking, I get in the address the crowd mode, and I say, look, when the system works, it works really well. I had no problems, no want for much. It's not a bad gig. And if you know the right people, you're going to be just fine. Just don't slip through the cracks. Don't get the wrong people. Don't get on the wrong side of the right people. Because just like any other system, they will turn a blind eye on you. And sometimes with all of this hero business, the people they are least heroic to are their own kind. That'll be a story for another day.
I get the feeling there'll be a lot of stories for other days. Maybe not just for
Me
you.
too. Yeah.
So, I don't know about anyone else, but I have fish to feed.
Yeah, I gotta get to work.
Do we want to make this a regular thing, or shall we just, I don't know, shoot a flashlight into the sky when something goes wrong?
That's
Is
a
it
bit too
Tink's
cliche.
flashlight?
It can be once.
GM,
Just don't
what
point
day
it
of
at
the
any
week is
trees.
it?
It is currently Tuesday.
Side winks to Trevor.
It's only Tuesday.
I don't know. Tink, when's your lightest grading day? Is
Oh.
Tuesdays? If I remember all the way back, I give a sort of a like glance to Black Ice. Tuesday, Thursday classes were kind of the lightest, if I recall properly. Is that still the case?
Not really, no. Well, I mean, like, don't
In
even get me started on the
comparison.
American educational system because everything's a scam. But anyway, my final exams are next week, so I should be good a week after that.
Tuesdays
So, yeah.
are good for me.
We can meet up here again next Tuesday.
Okay.
And if I tell my aunt I have a coffee clutch, she'll get all, oh, you made friends. And actually let me go and not schedule me to work that day.
Book group, book club.
Yeah, there you go. Tell her it's educational. Community outreach.
You
I
will
can't
be
do-
Tutoring.
You will be
Yeah, see,
hanging
I
out with a
can't-
teacher after all.
I can't do book club because she owns a bookstore.
Then community outreach.
No, if you do the book club thing, your aunt will just insist that it happens at the bookstore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She has a room for it.
And I don't want to subject you all to Tia Lucia. Which point I'm
Oh.
pretty sure Paws recognizes the name because, you know, we're part of the Hispanic club.
Yeah. I'm not pissing off. No. I am not going to try to piss off your aunt. I'm just.
My
no.
hippie aunt.
Yeah.
All right.
So next week, good?
Yep.
Sure.
Sure.
I can make it work.
All right. Next week.
So
About this time.
You part
Uncle
ways.
Crash still buying?
Crash will throw one of the wallets down on the table that has about $40. So at that point, they can buy like a drink and a half.
Yeah.
And he zips around the table a couple of times and then leaves. And Black Ice, when you leave, you will find a folded up piece of paper in your pocket that says, "Call me if you need me," with a phone number.
All right. So you had your separate ways to do things. Like Tink realizes she gets into her office to find that her papers have been graded. Not only that,
Were they graded correctly?
Not only that, they were graded correctly and well, with good commentary on exactly what had gone wrong in each of the cases for people.
Who are these people, and how do I get them to teach for me?
The weird part is it's in your handwriting.
Black Ice gets home, and her aunt is kind of worried that she's been gone for a while and make sure everything's okay, and dotes over her to just to make sure that nothing's gone wrong, or if she needs any help.
I'm fine. I gotta get to work.
Paul gets back to dozens and dozens of messages on her phone from various people inside of her family congratulating her and saying how awesome this is, and that's great, and oh, wonderful, we have to get back together, we can't wait to see you. Crash gets back home, and there is a letter that has been slipped under his door with once again, a Police Benevolent Society return address on it, except that the little shield on it has drawn on it a pair of gavels. And Gen X gets home, goes to the bathroom, looks into the mirror, not quite feeling fresh, so he goes and washes his face, and when he looks up, his skin is peeling off. He rubs it out a bit more, and all of the wrinkles on your face are disappearing. You look like you've just lost 20 years.
Like a peel away mask.
And we'll see you all in 2 weeks.
So this has been issue 3 of The Powers That Be. This one was entitled The Test. I'd like to thank everyone for coming along on this ride with us. We will see when the next episode gets scheduled. It'll go out. You can find the schedule on my Mastodon account, vitruvianmeeple@dice.camp. I do still keep my Twitter account active, again, vitruvianmeeple. Or you can leave me a message here. In the meantime, for Patrick, ECAT, Magda, Julie, and Ray, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple, saying, Meeple or Meeple, so why should it be that you and I should get along so awfully? Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.